that's one good thing about consulting. It gives you a broad spectrum of engagements that you try to work in. So I have been on engagements ranging from helping the number two private sector bank in Sri Lanka achieve their 14% profit after tax, to setting up a cybersecurity organization in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Mr. Bharadwaj, for being part of this particular video. I really appreciate you taking out your
Sure.
time and providing this consulting experience to us and providing knowledge around consulting. So, the very first thing which I want to understand from you is you have previously been with Deloitte and now you're currently working with PwC. So, if you want
Yeah.
to explain consulting to a fresher, how would you explain it, and what are the basic key factors that you would provide around it?
I think let me start with the definition of consulting first. So
Mm-hmm.
consulting is all about providing a solution in very simple terms. So someone comes to you, you give them a solution. Someone comes to a doctor, the doctor gives the patient a solution. So that's all consulting is all about. But if I go a little deeper into what consulting means in terms of working in Deloitte or PwC or any of the big four,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the consulting is divided into domains. So you either do finance consulting, you either do digital consulting, you do technology strategy consulting, you do something like human capital consulting. So it's actually divided into key market areas or key problem areas. You see, so
Understood.
there are some teams in Deloitte or some teams in PwC which work purely on finance consulting. There are a
Mm-hmm.
few teams which purely work on human capital consulting, which provide solutions around the org structure, around the operating model, around the people governance, stuff like that. So,
Understood.
in a nutshell, I would say consulting is all about providing an apt solution to the problem that the client foresees, or maybe the opportunity that we recommend.
From your past experience, you have been an engineer like
Hmm.
most of us. Even I actually did
Right.
my engineering in
Yeah.
mechanical. So you have been an electrical
Right.
engineering. And after your engineering,
Right.
you started working with TCS. You worked there for almost 3 years. From being an engineer,
Correct.
how did you transfer and how did you shift your role to a consulting role?
In my case, it was MBA which catalyzed my step into the consulting field. So
Mm-hmm.
I did my master's from IIM Raipur, and then I got an offer from Deloitte to be a part of
Mm-hmm.
Deloitte Digital, which is into digital consulting, right? So that's how in my case it was MBA which helped me step into consulting. But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask as a normal person who has done his electrical or electronics engineering, how can he or she step into consulting? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they can, but with the domain experience. So if you're working in any media company, you can join any of the big four as a media consultant. If you're
Understood.
working in any finance company, you can join the consulting companies as a finance consultant. So you can
Understood.
either have an MBA or have a domain expertise.
Understood. Understood. So you need to have some sort of a domain expertise to enter into that field at least.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
So the next thing which I want to understand is in terms of the process of interviews for consulting. I mean, I've heard that consulting
Right.
interviews are very challenging and you need to be very prepared
Yeah.
for it. So if you can just take me
Right.
through the process of how your interviews were and how did you prepare for interviews? And what are the key tips that you can actually provide to anyone who's preparing for these interviews?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a very apt question. Uh, so let me rewind back to my college days. I think consulting interviews, the one major difference, if I have to spot between the consulting interviews and non-consulting interviews, is
Hmm.
case-based analysis. So
Hmm.
you will be provided a case. Unlike other interviews, you'll not be having any mainstream questions like why are you applying for this job, blah blah blah. Not that stuff. Unlike
Understood.
them, you will be having a case, a small snippet of the case, maybe one
Hmm.
or two paragraphs showing a business problem. It could be like a telecom company wants to enter from Taiwan to South Africa. What's your take about it? It could be about we want to start a, a water conservation park in India. So what's your analysis about it? A very very small caselet like that. And in most of the cases in the campuses, it would be a group based discussion in the interest of time. But
Hmm.
whereas if we are applying a lateral, I mean after campus, it
Hmm.
will be maybe one to one. But case based analysis is something that is a must in any consulting interview. A couple of things that would help people prepare this case-based analysis is point number one, which is guesstimates. You have a lot of interviews or I mean, a lot of videos in YouTube which can help you gain good knowledge about guesstimates. It could go like this: can you guesstimate how many number of street lights are there in Dubai? So that could be one of the guesstimates. So you
Understood.
usually see the area which is cultivated and the area which is inhabited by people, and then you divide the number of per square feet. Then you divide what is the gap between the street lights. So the thing is, you don't need a exact answer. The thing that the interview see is the approach that you're taking. So
Understood,
guesstimates is
sir.
number one. And
Understood.
the second thing I think which is required to solve this case analysis is a minimum a good market understanding. So okay, you need to understand that okay, if I'm moving my telecom company from Taiwan to South Africa, I need to understand the telecom regulations over there. I don't need to be an expert there, but I just need to know the basics over there. I just need to know okay, there are already 3 or 4 telecom players already playing in the market. So
Hmm.
being a fifth player might not be a lucrative option. So things like that. Minimum market understanding is what I would recommend.
So what they normally look at is your entire approach towards a particular case, irrespective of the correct numbers. You don't really
Absolutely,
have to have the numbers right, but how your overall approach is and how
absolutely.
exactly you're thinking and solving each situation by situation.
Each situation. That's right. That's right. Correct. They might
And
even
do you
ask
have?
sometimes. They might even ask you questions like, "Can you implement a cloud architecture uh, project for a large retail company?" Right. So this
Mhm.
looks like a very tough question, but if you try solving it step by step, like okay, let me first understand the current situation of the company. Let me first understand the current situation of the retail. How many of its
Mhm.
transactions are happening online? How does it store its data? So if you try to ask these kind of questions to the interviewer, if the data is not provided, he clearly knows that you're going towards the right answer. You don't need to actually design a cloud architecture for a company, but the thing is, are you thinking on the right direction? Are you asking the right
Understood.
set of questions?
Understood. And is there interviews around data? I mean, so when you're joining, let's say, an e-commerce company like an Uber, you have multiple
Right,
analytical tests which you have to perform. Are there the same kind
right.
of test or for your consulting interviews as well?
No, I don't say there are questions about data. In some cases, we are given a caselet well in advance, like 2 or 3 days in advance, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
ask us to work on the PPT to show
Mm-hmm.
a 3 or 4 slide deck to show an approach. So things like
Understood.
this might happen. If not on the interview, this might happen.
So
Yeah,
when you shifted from engineering field into a consulting field,
yeah,
how was your overall
yeah.
first month experience?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's very common with a lot of Indians, I would say. Um, First month experience, honestly, I had really good onboarding in Deloitte and PwC.
Mm-hmm.
So they ensured that I got enough training, enough hands-on experience before I got into a project. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to slightly tweak your question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll rather take the question as how was your first project experience?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
So that's a little scary. I don't say it's scary because the exposure that we have received in the college, the exposure that we have seen in pre MBA experience is a lot different than what we see after MBA. We see every slides, every presentation is packed with a lot of details, is packed with a lot of data, is backed by a lot of hypothesis, a lot of points that support the hypothesis or deny the
Mm-hmm.
hypothesis, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first month you can say that the learning curve was exponential thanks to
Mm-hmm.
the colleagues that I had here. They made, I mean, they ensured that I got enough training, enough details, and all that. So yeah, I think that's a major difference. It's not the PPT that we have created in the colleges. No, it's definitely no.
And when you start working on a project, how was the
Right,
overall how was that experience? I mean, I really want to understand because when you're as an engineer, you at a
right,
very initial stage, you don't really have multiple projects to take ownership of, right? But I
correct,
believe at a
correct,
consulting role, you might have slightly more projects and everything which you can take ownership. So, how
absolutely.
was that experience?
That's one good thing about consulting. It gives you uh, a broad spectrum of engagements that you try to work in. So I have been on engagements ranging from helping the number two private sector bank in Sri Lanka achieve their 14% profit after tax, to setting up a cybersecurity organization in Saudi Arabia, to
Mm-hmm.
opening up the tourism in Saudi Arabia, things like that.
Oh,
They look very a broad spectrum, I would say. I mean, fortunately, or helping a convenience store chain in the US to increase their customer or market share. So things like that.
and what are the key challenges that you actually face in these kind of projects?
I think as a fresher to consulting field, the biggest challenge I faced is approach, because I didn't know how to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
was very we get bogged down about very tactical things, how to create a slide or how to create this master data, things like that. But we tend to miss out on the overall approach. Okay, why am I solving this problem? Why am I understanding the data of this to achieve 14% PAT? Why am I doing this? So things like that. I think approach is the biggest thing that I have missed out in the very first month. And slowly, while time
Understood.
progressed, I think that is what I learned now. So now I have about 4 years experience in consulting. I think
Mm-hmm.
the biggest asset I learned is a structured approach now.
So what would be your advice to someone who, or how would you advise someone to approach? Because if someone's new to consulting and they know that they have to work on their overall approach aspect, what would be some tip which
Right.
you can give to someone from your learning experience?
I think so. A structured approach that not just me or many in this consulting field would follow is uh, first understand the client, like that
Mm-hmm.
we call it as current state understanding, where we
Mm-hmm.
try to analyze each and every data point of the client. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Say for example, if I am consulting for Uber, I'll
Mm-hmm.
see what are the how many number of rides have you rode in the last month versus last year.
Mm-hmm.
What are the new things that you've brought in? How many fleet do you have? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
tag to Uber, things like that. I'll try to analyze each and every data point. That's first thing. Once I'm good with the current state understanding, I'll know the gaps. Right. So
Understood.
these are the industry best practices, or these are your benchmarks versus where do you stand right now. So these are your key gaps, right? And based on the gaps, these could be your recommendations, right? and
Understood.
and based on the xyz, all I mean, based on the huge laundry list of recommendations, this is what you can do over a timeline. So this is a 4-step process that we usually follow in consulting. The first step is current situation understanding. You
Mm-hmm.
understand the entire data of the client. The
Mm-hmm.
second step is identifying the gaps based on current
Mm-hmm.
state understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
The third step is making a recommendation, coming
Mm-hmm.
up with a list of recommendations. The fourth step, and most important, I would say, is plotting those recommendations on the timeline. When are you going to
Understood.
do what? How to prioritize that?
Understood. So, if you have to provide any interesting project which you had the
Hmm.
opportunity to work on, you don't really have to name the
Mhm.
company or you don't have to provide any sort of important data, but just an overall
Sure.
spectrum of what the project was, like how how was the entire project built upon, just to provide a basic understanding to the viewers in terms of what kind of projects do consultants work upon.
Absolutely. I think I have worked on a project for a leading American convenience store chain. So
Mm-hmm.
convenience store in the US market are something which are attached to the fuel stations. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
a mini supermarkets which are attached to the fuel stations. There
Okay.
you can buy some groceries, or you can either order some food like a pizza or maybe some fast food, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the leading convenience store chains in the US has approached Deloitte,
Mm-hmm.
saying that how can we increase the customer share? We want to increase the market share by X% within the next 3 or 4 months. So that was the
Mm-hmm.
business problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did we analyze that? We took a two-way approach. We first analyzed their online channels. We saw
Mm-hmm.
how many orders are coming up every month and by what channel. We have gone to an extent to understand the customer journey. Okay, the customer first maybe researches about the nearest convenience store chain, and then he places an order, then he corrects the order, then he eats the order. So we dissected the entire customer life cycle into, you won't believe, we dissected that into 100 touch points, like
Okay.
for each phase, like awareness phase, for ordering phase, for buying phase. We have actually fragmented or dissected that into 100 touch points to
Mm-hmm.
analyze what is missing. That's number one. Number two, in the other approach, we have also seen what's missing in the store. So we have analyzed the store, the billboards in the store, the dashboards, the order boards, everything. to see, are you marketing it right? People who are coming to the fuel station, are you attracting them enough to come to step into your convenience store? So things
Mm-hmm.
like that. After analyzing that, all these things, we have also benchmarked with other industries. So usually we benchmark with the same industry. If you're analyzing Uber, you may benchmark with say Careem or something else,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in this, we have taken a different approach. We actually benchmarked it with Amazon, which has got
Okay.
nothing to do with the convenience store. So how good are you in terms of making an order vis-a-vis Amazon? How good are you in
Mm-hmm.
terms of uh, delivering an order vis-a-vis Walmart? So we took the best in class of each part of that customer life cycle. We saw that Walmart is one of the best in delivering groceries. So we
Mm-hmm.
benchmarked that part with Walmart. We benchmarked the online ordering part with Amazon. So we took the industry leading benchmarks in each part of the customer life cycle, and we benchmark and then analyze the gaps. So with those gaps, we have given them a profitable solution to do in the next 3 months.
Wow, that
And yeah,
sounds
while
uh,
they actually captured the market share, the desired market share.
that sounds actually interesting. And normally
Yeah.
these projects and everything, how long does the durations for? Like how long does it go for?
I would say between 3 to 4 months. Any
Okay.
strategy engagement, it goes between 3 to 4 months. But usually, sometimes we also get to manage the execution of that. So that we
Mm-hmm.
call it as strategy and operations, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they go hand in hand. You can't just provide them a strategy and then sometimes leave the client. The client also might engage us in overseeing or maybe providing supervision for the execution. So for the
Understood.
strategy, it takes about 3 to 4 months, but for the execution, it takes maybe a year or 6 months or maybe more.
Now, if you have seen over the last couple of years, the trend
Right,
towards consulting has increased drastically. So when I was
right.
in maybe in my initial school days or college and everything, investment
Hmm.
banking was a trend a long time ago. People
Correct.
wanted to be
Yeah.
investment bankers at that time.
Right.
And over a period of time, right now, everyone wants to be a consultant, whether
Right.
it's an MBA graduate, they aspire to be consultants. So I want to
Right.
understand, is MBA that key step towards becoming that consultant? Because I see a lot of people from different
Hmm.
domains, they enter into
Hmm.
a B school, whether it's an IIM or whether it's abroad, and then from
Hmm.
there they move into a consulting role. So is MBA that key
Right.
factor for entering into the consulting role?
Yeah, I think it's a very relevant question. No, to answer your question, MBA is only one of the key factors. It's one of the key factors. I understand
Mm-hmm.
MBA can help you a lot to get into the
Mm-hmm.
consulting field because see, as a consultant, you're expected to think holistically. You're expected to think from the finance standpoint. You're expected to think from the marketing standpoint, from various other standpoints, which MBA can help you gain that. But not just that. In my 3 or 4 years experience, I've seen a lot of people who come from industry, who come
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of domain expertise. And like you mentioned, consulting has only picked up in the last maybe in the last decade. It has
Correct.
always been there, but the craze towards that, or maybe a lot of people opting for being a consultant, has only picked up in the last 5 to 10 years, maybe, right?
Correct.
And in the last 10 years, there is no digital consulting, but now digital consulting is a big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the last 5 to 10 years, the technology consulting was a very small thing. People only used to consult a lot for strategy as well as human capital. The tech consulting was a small thing in the last decade, but now you see tech consulting is grabbing a lion's share in the overall consulting market, or maybe digital consulting for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. I mean, tomorrow you might even have a separate wing for e-commerce consulting in all these big four
Mm-hmm.
firms, right? So it always depends on the clients. It always depends on the market we have. If the market is having a lot of e-commerce players, no wonder you may even have a e-commerce consulting line.
Understood.
So MBA is not the only criteria, I would say. Domain expertise is also something that these companies prefer. So if you are being hired laterally from the campuses, it's always MBA. It's usually MBA. But
Mm-hmm.
if it is not from the campuses, in a lot of instances, it is domain expertise. They'll not check the MBA. They'll see if he or she understands this domain well. That's it.
Understood. So it's more on how well you know about a particular domain and how well is
Exactly.
your approach towards the entire case studies or whether how well are you approaching a particular aspect. I think that's a key
Correct,
role which
correct.
understand
So
which plays a
inside
key role.
inside the domains that I've mentioned, like inside finance consulting, inside the digital consulting, inside technology consulting, again,
Mm-hmm.
there are we are also tagged to the industries. So there are some set of people who who consults only tourism clients, who consults only healthcare, who consults only, say, banking. So
Mm-hmm.
he might be a digital consultant, but he will be consulting only for the banks. So things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a matrix structure where you have the domains like data, cybersecurity, technology, digital, finance, etc. on one side, and you have the industries
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, retail, healthcare, things like that on the other side. So if you're an expert in either of these things, there are
Mm-hmm.
good chances that you can become a consultant. You either an
Understood.
industry domain expert or maybe technology or any area domain expert.
Understood. That's
Right.
that clarifies a lot of things. Um,
Yeah,
I would lastly end with if you had to give one tip or one advice or one suggestion to anyone who
yeah.
aspires to be a consultant, what would be that particular advice?
I think structured thinking is one thing that the structured or rational thinking is something that someone requires as a consultant. So as a consultant, you're supposed to have a good hypothesis built, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
a good approach to build your hypothesis. I have a couple of books that I can recommend to
Absolutely.
crack the interviews, or to to build that structured thinking. Obviously, we were not born with those kind of thinking. Right? We
Mm-hmm.
we just attain that knowledge. So a couple of books that I have read for my interviews are Case in Point by Mac Cosentino. It's a
Okay.
brilliant book for people, particularly in these schools. This is
Mm-hmm.
targeted for students who try to crack case interviews.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the other books are not just for students but for anyone who aspire to be a consultant. That's The Pyramid Principle. It's a beautiful book which talks about how you build your hypothesis and then fragment your hypothesis into small things and then support your hypothesis with the data points. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very good book. It's called The Pyramid Principle.
Okay.
The next book is The Innovator's Dilemma. It's by Clayton Christensen.
Okay.
It talks about how big innovations led companies to fail. So it's like balancing between innovation and disruption. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good book. And finally, I think my all-time favorite book, it's The McKinsey Way. It talks about the actual approach of the consultant.
So,
Sure.
Mr. Bharadwaj, thank you for taking out your time, especially over a weekend, and providing all these consulting tips and providing an entire overview about consulting. And I really appreciate you taking out your time for this particular aspect.
No, thanks, Nikhil, for giving me this opportunity.